Something's cooking in Kelsey's kitchen. Come on in, come on in. And if your belly's got that itching, come on in, come on in. The main ingredient is a pinch of loving, and only the best comes out of Kelsey's oven. Come on in, come on in, come on in.
Welcome to Kelsey's Kitchen. I'm Kelsey Nixon, and this is where we make fast, fun, and affordable meals. Today we are really living our mission statement because we are making 3 recipes that are extremely fast, fun, and affordable. To top it all off, each one of these recipes only requires 4 ingredients. That's it. So you can come home after a long day of work or school, pull 4 things from the refrigerator, and you've got an excellent meal. So let's get started with my personal favorite, which is lemon baked salmon. This is a great recipe and it's extremely healthy on top of being extremely easy. So what we're going to start with is a salmon fillet. Now you can just buy something very similar to this in any grocery store in the seafood section. They sell them. This one cost me $2.30. That's it. And if you're hungry, this is great for one person, or if you're serving salmon with some other things, this would feed 2 people even. So this is about 6 ounces, and what I'm going to do first is season this. Ooh, a little bit of salt, a little bit more salt, there we go. And then I'm going to add some fresh ground pepper. Never want to skimp on the salt and pepper, that's for sure. Now, this is the secret ingredient right here, this Greek seasoning. It's absolutely wonderful. I love it with my salmon. I love it paired with the flavor of lemon, and it's my favorite thing to put on my salmon fillets. So season this up nicely. Be quite generous. Next, we're going to take a lemon. 1 lemon, and we're just going to squeeze the juice right onto the salmon fillet. If you get a few seeds that pop out of there, just go ahead and remove them. You'll notice that I'm cooking the salmon on foil, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to make a foil packet, and that's going to lock in the moisture and the flavor and make your salmon nice and flaky and oh, just so flavorful and intense. There we go. Okay. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of onion. I'm using a Spanish onion. Other onions would work as well, but this is the one I'm choosing today. Spanish onions can be yellow or white. They're usually yellow. And just going to do some slices. I'm not going to dice it, just a few slices. But like I said, I really like the pairing of the lemons and the onions and that Greek seasoning, I'm telling you, is out of this world. You've got to get some. So we're just going to simply pull these apart and layer them on top of this nice salmon fillet. You know, this is only about 4 ingredients to make, and really you can throw this together in under 5 minutes. So now we have a generous amount of onions on there. I'm going to top it off with 3 lemon slices, just to intensify that lemon flavor even more. And that is it. Can you believe it? What we're going to do next is we're going to seal this up pretty tight. I'm going to fold this side over, followed by this side. Then I'm going to twist my ends so that none of that great lemon juice falls out, and tuck it under. Now, if you don't like salmon but you like other types of fish, such as a tilapia or a halibut, same recipe works. And that's it. I have this nice foil packet, an amazing salmon dish. I'm going to stick it in the oven at 325 degrees just for about 25 minutes or until your fish is nice and pink and flaky. And this served with a little cocktail sauce is out of this world. Let's stick this in here. And I actually have one that's done right over here. I've been hiding it back here. And I'm going to taste it. So once it comes out of the oven, you'll want to let it cool off for just a bit. And then when you open it up, it's going to look like this. And those onions have softened up just a bit. And the salmon is nicely seasoned. It smells wonderful. And like I said, I'm a saucy girl, so I always like to have a little bit of sauce with things. And cocktail sauce is my choice. But if you don't like sauce that much, I'm telling you, there's so much flavor packed in this that you really don't need it. So, okay, let's see here. Take a little bite. Make sure I get an onion. Let's see, here we go. Absolutely wonderful. I'm telling you, that Greek seasoning, so good with the lemon. This recipe You definitely need to make sure you try. Now, when we come back, we are going to be making a honey glazed pork tenderloin. Only 4 ingredients, and I'm telling you, this is a man's dish. This is a good, nice meat that's so easy to throw together. See you in a few minutes.
You can learn English by watching Hello Channel.
Welcome back to Kelsey's Kitchen. We're on to our second segment of this episode, and I'm thrilled about it. This is honey glazed pork tenderloin. And if you've ever had that honey baked ham during Thanksgiving with the nice sweet crust on the outside of the ham, this is what it kind of reminds me of. But this is much more healthy. I'm telling you, pork tenderloin is the best kept meat secret in town. It's extremely inexpensive. This piece of meat right here cost me about $3. It's very healthy for you. Only 120 calories for 4 ounces, which, I mean, you can't beat that. And it's a very tender piece of meat as well. So that's what we're using today. Whenever I make it, people rave about it. What we're going to start out doing is making a marinade for this. Now, I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar and a 1/2 cup of honey. Now, brown sugar is basically just white sugar with molasses added. So this really has that nice, rich honey molasses flavor, and it's going to form that beautiful crust on the outside of our meat. And last but not least, I'm adding 2 teaspoons of mustard. This is just prepared mustard. If you'd like to use Dijon mustard or honey mustard, that's fine. Just whatever you'd like. Okay, next I'm going to just blend this all together. Now, marinades, lots of college kids or single people will shy away from them because they do take time. The best advice I have for doing a marinade is before you head off to work or school in the morning, throw it together, stick it in your fridge, and then when you come back, all you have to do is pop something in the oven. And what marinades do is they make your meat extremely tender, and it intensifies the flavor. Throughout the day, the marinade's going to just soak up into the meat and taste so much better. I'm telling you, it's worth it. I've actually made this recipe where I put the tenderloin in the marinade and had it marinate all day and came home and made it. And I've also just put the marinade on top of the meat and cooked it right away. And both are good, but I'm telling you, if you take the time to marinate, it's a whole lot better. So as you can see, once we blend this all together, we have this nice caramel color. And let's move on to our meat. Like I said, pork tenderloin. When buying a pork tenderloin, you'll want to make sure that there's a little bit of marbleization going on, so you have a little bit of white color. You never want this part to be yellow. That means it's not that fresh. So let's salt and pepper it because we're never going to skip that process, right? Kosher salt as always. Fresh ground pepper. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the marinade. Now I'm taking a pastry brush. This is so easy to get in all those crevices of the meat and really let the flavor start absorbing in there. Whenever I make this, people always tell me, I can't believe how tender the meat is. I can't believe how tender it is. It's got a really nice light flavor. If you're dieting or trying to eat a little bit more healthy, this is a great option. And you know, it's something different than cooking chicken every night. So it's a good thing. Okay, once I've kind of got this all covered with this marinade, I'm going to cover it with some plastic wrap and stick it in the fridge for a couple of hours. Now, like I said, if you're in a big hurry and you've got to have this in an hour or so, you would just take this right now, stick it on your rack, stick it in your oven, and you're good to go. But I really recommend the marinating process. A little bit of plastic wrap over the top. And how long does that take you to throw together in the morning? Hardly any time at all. And I bet most of you have brown sugar, honey, and mustard in your cupboards as we speak. So this is going to go in the fridge. Now I have this one right here that's been marinating all day. And as you can see, the marinade's a little bit, it's a little bit liquefied. It's not as thick as it was before, and it's because a lot of that has been absorbed into this beautiful piece of meat. Okie doke. Now what I like to do is I like to put it on something that's a little bit raised. I use this simple rack. It's extremely easy. If you don't have one of these, go ahead and just put it in a 9x13 dish like this and you should be fine. Hands are going to get a little bit dirty, and when you're working with raw meat, you always want to make sure that you'll wash your hands immediately after or before you touch anything. But already you can see the change in color in this tenderloin. The color's a little bit more rich, and I'm telling you, this is absolutely fabulous. That's all we're going to do. I'm going to just wipe my hands off here. This is going to go in the oven, 375 degrees, for about an hour, but you'll want to watch it. And when you know it's done, you can buy a meat thermometer like this. This cost me maybe $2 at a grocery store, so I recommend getting one of these. And after an hour, you'll want to stick it in the thickest part of the meat, and it should read 160 degrees. Somewhere between 160 and 175, that's good. If it's below 140, you definitely need to keep cooking it. It's not ready, but 160 is ideal. I'm going to stick this in there. And like I said before, this is such a man food. Boys love this. There we go. That's it. When it comes out, I like to slice it really thin on an angle against the grain in nice medallions. This is great served with asparagus, maybe some new potatoes with a little bit of rosemary flavoring. And if you're going to serve it with a sauce, I recommend using a spicy, tangy sauce, maybe like an A1 or a barbecue sauce. I'm going to stick this in the fridge so that I can have a great dinner tonight. And when we come back, I'm going to make lime chicken. Does that not just sound divine? It's so easy. You make it all on the stovetop. This literally is done in 5 or 6 minutes with only 4 ingredients. See you in a few.
Thanks for watching Hello Channel. Learn the language of the internet, travel, commerce, and diplomacy. Watch Hello Channel and learn English. Do it for yourself.
Welcome back for our final segment. Now today we are really cooking fast, fun, and affordable. 3 dishes, only 4 ingredients. This is the last one, and it's lime chicken. I'm telling you, this is such a hit in my apartment. It's got a nice light flavor. You can cook it any night of the week, and you always have the ingredients on hand. It's great. So let's get started. I'm going to start heating my pan just a bit. I'm going to use just a little bit of oil because I'm not using a nonstick skillet. Now, if you don't own a skillet yet and you're a college student, I would suggest getting a nonstick because you don't need oil or anything like that. Now this, because it's stainless steel, we've got to make sure that we add a little bit of oil so that our meat doesn't stick to the skillet. Okay, that's going to start heating up just a bit. And while that's going on, I'm going to get the limes, because how can you have lime chicken without limes, right? 3 limes. Now, when using limes, actually I've got one right there. When using limes, to get the most juice out of them, you want to roll them like so. Especially when they're not great limes. Right now is not the perfect season for limes. It'll start about May, but definitely will still work. I love the flavor of lime. It's nice, it's refreshing, it's a little bit tangy. And let me tell you, we're using them today, 3 of them. Roll this one just a bit. Okay, we're gonna cut it in half and just start squeezing right into our skillet with our oil. Now, if you're not getting that much juice out of your lime, one thing you can do is you can take tongs and squeeze the lime and you'll get a little bit more juice out of there. A little bit easier. Okie doke. Keep squeezing. That's for sure. There's a couple of different kinds of limes. These are key limes, which are a little bit smaller. They come from Florida. And actually in other countries, you can only get key limes at nice gourmet markets. This dish smells great too. Now the one downfall to this dish is that there's not a lot of color to it. So I like to serve it with some Spanish rice, which adds that nice orangey red color. Also it pairs really nicely with the flavor of the limes. Okay, and one more lime. Before we cut this, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. It's called a microplane. It's a great tool, and if you don't have one, a cheese grater will work just as well. But I'm going to save a little bit of the outside of this lime called the pith. Or excuse me, not the pith. The pith is actually what's underneath. It's the white part, and you don't want that. You just want the outer covering that's green. This is a really, really intense flavor of the lemon, and I like to sprinkle it over the top of my dish when it's done. Well, I didn't get most of that in there, but there we go. You only need a little bit because the flavor is so intense. I love using this. Lemons work the same way. Lots of times you'll come across recipes that call for lemon zest, actually. And that's all you got to do. Pretty easy. There we go. I'm going to turn this down just a bit. Lots of lime juice in this recipe. Lots of lime juice in this recipe. Okay. Last of our limes. Next, we're moving on to the garlic. Now, we cook with a lot of garlic on this show because one little clove of garlic, lots and lots of flavor. Really inexpensive ingredient, and I'm a major fan. Just make sure you pound on it, whoops, and you'll want to throw that outer covering away and just chop really, really finely your garlic. I'm going to use 2 cloves today. One there, and then this same thing, just smack down, and that shell's going to come right off. Out of the way. Want to take off the ends. That's that bitter part that we don't want. Throw that away. Now, one thing, when I cook with garlic, I can't stand the way it makes my hand smell afterwards. Same thing with onions. Sometimes I get that real intense flavor on my hands, and I can't get it off for days. I know the secret, people. I know the trick. What you need to do is you need to just run your hands under cold water, rubbing it against stainless steel. I never thought it'd work until I actually did it. It works like a charm. Can't believe it's that easy. Make sure we really get this fine here. Okay. And then this is going in our skillet. It's going to taste great. Okay, now that we've got that going, turn the heat up just a bit onto the chicken. Now, I'm going to cut this in some long strips, and one tip to do before that is to freeze your chicken for just a bit. I stuck this in the freezer for about an hour, and it's going to make it a lot easier to cut. And all I want to do is cut strips on a diagonal so that my chicken is all uniform. This recipe calls for about 2 large chicken breasts, 6 to 7 ounces, with the amount of limes that we're using, or, you know, depending on if you're cooking for 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, it will vary. If you're just using 4 or 5 ounce chicken breasts, you'll want to use as many as 4. And these look a little large to me, so I'm just going to slice these in half. But the fact that that chicken's frozen just a bit really helps the process. Okay. And you know what? I think I'm just going to cook the one today because that's a lot of meat there. Just work on this. Okay. Okie doke. And this is going to go in our skillet. Now you'll notice that with the chicken, I cut the chicken on the same cutting board as the other things, but I made sure to cut those first so that I wasn't going to run the risk of cross-contamination at all. Isn't it pretty color? Great, now that our chicken is about 90% done, we are going to add mushrooms. This is about 2 cups of sliced mushrooms. And you don't want to add them until your chicken is about 90% cooked because mushrooms just absorb liquid like crazy. So they just take a few seconds to really cook. Now, it also depends on how you like your mushrooms. If you like them with a little bit more texture and shape, then you don't want to cook them as long, obviously. But I love the mushrooms paired with the lime and the garlic. Great flavor combination. Also, you'll notice that how beautiful the color of this chicken is. It's a nice caramelized brown. Tastes wonderful. We got food going everywhere here. But you'll notice that my pan is extremely full, but that's because these mushrooms are really going to shrink down. As soon as they absorb that moisture, they're going to take up half as much space as they're taking right now. Music-y. You guys gotta make this. This is so good. Work. As you can see, these are just about done cooking. The mushrooms have absorbed that nice lime juice with the garlic-infused flavor. It smells incredible. I wish this was smell-o-vision so you could smell this, because I'm telling you, it smells great. I love the caramelized look on the chicken and the mushrooms. Like I said, you will notice that the mushrooms and the chicken are the same color, and so you really want to have that contrasting Spanish rice to make it more appealing on the plate. And we're also going to top it with some lime, some little lime twists. So now that this is done, I'm going to turn this off, and I've got my plate here of Spanish rice. And it's so easy to buy these rice sides in the store. I mean, you can do that, or you can actually make a nice Spanish rice from scratch. But if you're anything like me, sometimes you're pressed for time and you just need to buy the quick stuff. So I'm going to just top this with a few of these chicken pieces and, of course, these mushrooms. And if you don't like mushrooms, because I know some people aren't a huge fan, go ahead and eliminate the mushrooms. You could even add something else, like maybe green peppers or something like that. But I love the mushrooms. Oh my goodness, so good. I'm trying to stack it in the middle here. Maybe just get a few more mushrooms right on top there. And then I'm going to take a lime. Now what I did is I just took some lime slices, sliced them thin, cut out a little triangle, and I'm going to twist it right on top. Doesn't look too bad, does it? For only 4 ingredients, just 5 or 6 minutes, that's all it takes. You've got this wonderful chicken that's infused with lime and garlic flavors over this nice Spanish rice. I'm telling you, this is a great dish, along with our honey glazed pork tenderloin and our wonderful lemon baked salmon. I hope that you have gotten an idea from one of these recipes and that you've got 4 ingredients to throw together a great main dish at the end of the day. Log into www.kelseykitchen.com for more fast, fun, and affordable recipes, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.